Good morning, students. Welcome you all to our online class. I am SAPAN SARKI, Physical Education Teacher at Delhi Public School, Siliguri. Today we are going to study Unit 2 of Olympic Value Education from Class 11 CBSE. Before we start our class, students, let's watch a short video which will help you to understand the topic that we will be discussing in our class today. So, let's watch the video.
Thousands of years in the making, what began as part of a religious festival honoring the Greek god Zeus in the rural Greek town of Olympia has today become the greatest show of sporting excellence on Earth. The inception date in 776 BC became the basis for the Greeks' earliest calendar, where time was marked in 4-year increments called Olympiads. What could it be? Why, it's the Olympic Games, of course. Competition fosters excellence, or so thought the ancient Greeks. In addition to sporting events, contests were held for music, singing, and poetry. You can read about them all yourself in classical literary works like Homer's Iliad and Virgil's Aeneid. Even mythical heroes appreciate a good contest every now and then, wouldn't you say? For the first 13 games, the ancient Greek Olympics featured just one event, the 200-yard dash. But over time, new, exciting contests like boxing, chariot and mule racing, and even a foot race where the competitors wore a full suit of armor enticed many hopeful champions into the Olympic Stadium. The combined running, jumping, wrestling, javelin throwing, and hurling the discus event known as the pentathlon inspired world-class competition. And the pankration, a no-holds-barred fight where only biting and eye-gouging were prohibited, ensured the toughest men were victorious. And victorious they were. Nobody tops the local baker Coroebus, who in 776 BC became the very first Olympic champion. And we'll never forget Orsippus of Megara. The 391 AD, the Christian Roman Emperor Theodosius banned pagan practices, so the world soon bid a fond farewell to the Olympic Games. But just like those early pankration athletes, you can't keep a good one down. And 1,500 years later, in 1896, the modern Olympic Games kicked off in Athens, Greece. Today, the Summer and Winter Olympics bring international world-class athletes together by the thousands, uniting fans by the billions for the world's foremost sporting competition. Citius, Altius, Fortius, 3 cheers for the Olympics.
Before we move on to the unit, let's read the subtopics that we will be discussing in this unit. The first subtopic will be Olympics, Paralympics, and Special Olympics. Second will be Olympic symbol, ideals, objectives, and value of Olympism. Third will be International Olympic Committee. Fourth will be Indian Olympic Association. Before we start, students, you should be clear about the meaning of the Olympic Value Education. Olympic Value Education program is a practical set of learning resources designed to inspire and allow young person experience life values such as excellence, respect, and friendship. Let's learn the topics in details about Olympics, Paralympics, and Special Olympics. Students, when we talk about Olympics, you should know that Olympics is divided into 2 categories. First, the ancient Olympic, and second is the modern Olympic. The ancient Olympic started in Olympia Valley in 776 BC, whereas the modern Olympic started in Athens in 1896, and Paralympic started 1960 in Rome, and Special Olympic started 1968 in Chicago. There is no definite fact or information as to how and when did the ancient Olympic Games begin, but there are various stories about the origin in the Greek stories. First tale is, it was believed that the native of Olympia deeply respected as their god. Once when Zeus had appeared on the ground of Olympia, the ground has split due to his fearful anger. In order to calm Zeus, people constructed a temple in the valley and started the tradition of offering sacrifice. Later, Hercules, son of Zeus, started games and sports in the honor of his father. Let's move on to the second story. King Aegeus of Alice gave a responsibility to Hercules to clean a vast stables for his wrongdoing. So Hercules promised to fulfill the responsibility, but he put a condition that after the completion of his work, King Aegeus would have to give 10 parts of his animal property. So King agreed, and then Hercules completed his work, but King did not keep his word. So Hercules killed King Aegeus and himself became the king. Hercules decided to punish himself for the crime committed. So he organized Olympic Games. Now listen to another interesting tale which the Greek listens with keen interest. Now students, give attention here. It is really interesting. There was a kingdom named Alice on the bank of river Alpheus. Now King Anomas ruled over Alice and had a beautiful daughter named Hippodamia. For her marriage, the king had placed a condition. Says that anyone who could kidnap her would marry her. 13 youths came one by one, but no one could kidnap her. So the king killed these youths. Then a youth named Pelops from Alice came, who was very cunning and brave young man. He made the charioteer his close friend and made him remove the axle from the chariot of the king before the race started. Then Pelops along with Hippodamia started race. The king followed their chariot. When the king's chariot was about to reach Pelops' chariot, the wheel of king's chariot came off. Not only his chariot broke, but his neck was also cut. Then Pelops not only got Hippodamia, but also the kingdom of Alice. It was said that Pelops to remember and show his dual success, he started these games with religious rituals. Another story which has given by Greek philosopher says there was wrestling took place between god Zeus and god Coronos, in which god Zeus became the winner and started Olympic Games to celebrate his victory. Another story, itself from Greece. Greece was divided into various small states, which were called city-states. In order to settle down battles among these small states, the Olympic Games originated. So students, after these few tales, I must say that one thing is common in each of the tale. That is, ancient Olympic started in beautiful valley of Olympia in 776 BC. And these games continue approx 1000 years unless and until the Rome inverted Olympia Greece. And their king, Theodas of Rome, stopped the ancient Olympic Games, as called them peasant festival or game. He wanted to impose Christianity as the state religion of Rome. So in 394 CE, these games came to end. Now, the ancient Olympic Games, certain rules were framed for competitors of various sports competitions, which were engraved on a bronze plate. Firstly, the competitors must be only a Greek, completely from a Hellenic race, and must be physically fit. Secondly, savages and punished persons were not allowed to participate in these games. Third, the competitors had a stay in a Olympia for a 1 month before the beginning of Olympic Games. They had to take an oath that they had already taken the training for 10 months in their state. Fourth one, women were not allowed to participate in the competition or see the games. Fifth one, for participation in games, participants had a practice for a 1 month. And lastly, only amateur sports person could participate in these games and not the professionals. Now opening ceremony of game. It is very important for any game or competition which is held here. Firstly, opening ceremony, all the players, their brothers, father and trainers used to assemble in the stadium. But mind it, all should be male. So no women were allowed. And then the oath was taken for abiding the rules for the game, and they had got training of 10 months. Next thing was pig was killed as a sacrifice which was offered to the god named Zeus. After that, one by one sports person come out of the sports arena and spectators decide the player participation. If the player was corrupted or player has done misdeed, if he was savage or punished, we are not allowed to participate. Now the passage of time, several new games were added, like 400-yard walking in 724 BC, 3 miles race in 720 BC, pentathlon in 708 BC, boxing in 688 BC, and horse race in 648 BC. So student, these are very important for you to remember, as these come in MCQ. You should remember what all event added as well as years. Then how the ancient Olympic run during particular time. It was 5 days event. There was first day event was religious function performed. Second day was reserved for march past and introduction. After that, chariot race, horse race and pentathlon was used to conduct it. And third day, the ritual of sacrifice of an animal, after which the competition basis wrestling and boxing were held. And fourth day was also reserved for athletic events, wrestling and boxing. So both the day this event used to take place. And on the fifth day, recreational games was organized. Now, whosoever won the competition used to get food grains, animals, and the winner used to get crown made of olive leaves. And During particular time, the stress was not laid on getting awards or money. It was more about getting respect and honor. Statues were also made of the winners, and poems were composed in a praise of winners, and name was recorded in the annals of the history. Now students, this is an assignment given which you all have to do it after every class. Some home assignment will be given. We end of our class here. Thank you.